Hello, everybody. Hassan here, engineer, MBA, and investor. And in today's video, I want to talk about Zymergen, the company, basically being hammered after hours yesterday, and today they've been down up to like almost 80%. I want to talk about this fall of a company. I want to talk about the warnings. I want to talk about the red flags. But before we do that, guys, before we even talk about this topic, do like this video, smash that like button, destroy that like button, and if you haven't subscribed, guys, please do subscribe. You guys know how the YouTube algorithms work. Do support this channel. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. So let's take a look at really quickly here. This is as you guys know, there's a Tokyo Olympics going this recent weeks and even today, and it looks like the Canadian today's race 200 meters he actually won the race, but in 100 meters he got bronze medal. That was quite a disappointment. The Italian won number one as the gold medal, but I just wanted to go really quickly over this news. So congratulations to the fellow Canadian here, Andre DeGrasse. A huge victory for Canadians. I'm really happy that he was able to capture the gold medal for at least one of those two races, in this case the 200 meters races. So let me know if you guys are watching the Olympics, by the way. Let me know what's your favorite sport or favorite athlete, the comments below. But anyways, let's get back to business here. So this company we haven't covered in this channel. It's ticker ZY. We have not covered this company, and there are several reasons why we have not been able to cover this company. But more specifically, yesterday after hours, they published their earnings report, right? And they went through their earnings call, and the disaster happened, right? So CNBC here, they published this news yesterday, saying Zymergen plunges 68% after product revenue will be immaterial in 2022, removing CEO. So let's just go a little bit down in these news here. The company went public $30 a share back in April, so not even a few months ago, and it traded almost at $50, and the company was worth almost $5 billion, right? And the stock sank all the way to $11, and it has been hit significantly hard, and it's well below $1 billion now in market cap. So really, really huge drop. I think at last I checked, it's like down 80%, right? The company has yet to start generating a product sales, and said now it expects revenue from its products to be immaterial through 2022. So basically, no revenue. So all these promises are gone down the drain for at least 2022. So we're looking at a year and a half that this company will not be making any sort of revenue from their product sales, as opposed as in contrast, in the past they mentioned that they would do it. So they're going back to their words now. So, there's a couple of comments here. We are disappointed by these development. The board and the management team are focused on resolving underlying issues to ensure Zymergen move forward as a stronger company with a compelling operating plan. And we're looking at here in the IPO prospect, they did mention that they would generate project revenue for their product line called Hyalin in the second half of 2021. We are obviously in the second half of 2021. There's no revenue. And obviously, that's why in yesterday's call, they had to announce this. And obviously, they're throwing some numbers here. So, what do we make out of this, right? What do we make out of this? What I want to talk about. And before we even give my comments here, I do want to mention we made a video yesterday on our G fund, the genomics fund. And what's really ironic is that Zymergen is actually one of the companies ARK Invest owns for your RG index fund, right? So for everybody that owns this fund, this news does affect you, because this is one of the 61 companies that RG Funds owns, right? Zymergen, they own a 0.43% weight of that index fund. Now, obviously, that is a very small weight. Obviously, even if it's down 80%, it will barely be reflected in the RG fund. That's the whole purpose of having a basket of goods, a basket of companies. That's the whole purpose of having ETFs funds. That's why you, as an investor, you want to pick those funds, because the risk is spread, right? But I do want to mention that they do own significant amount of shares. In fact, what's crazier is that They actually, compared to Caribou Biosciences, which we believe in this channel that they are multiple baggers in the upcoming years, they actually own a lot more in terms of weight size in the RG fund. So it is what it is, food for thought. It is what it is. A couple of comments. First of all, I do want to mention that there's a couple of things here. First, from the ARK Invest side of things, right? I think a lot of investors look at this space and they think that biotech is the future, and they see very low downsides to it. All they see is upsides. And clearly, what we saw from this company, their earnings report, the earnings call, and just dropping their CEO just yesterday, the company's stock being down 70 to 80% after hours, and obviously all the way till today. I mean, that's a huge drop, guys. This is no joke. I mean, a single day be down 70 to 80%. That's a huge blow. It will take many years to recover, okay? Many years, not just a few days, not just a few months. This is going to take many years. For people that were looking into biotech, genomics, gene editing companies, and they think that this is a green light space where things are just going to go up, this is absolutely not the case. Obviously, this is one example. There are other examples too, where companies can be down for several months, if not years, right? If you take a look at some of these companies like Illumina and these other companies, take a look at their stock price, over time. There was a spike in the 2000s, and they didn't recover until well, few years into it. So just keep that in mind, right? When you jump into these types of high technology spaces, there are many risks involved. And again, this is why in this channel we often repeat to you guys, always do your own research, right? Always do your own research. Try to really build a conviction behind the companies you invest in. When you see these companies giving promises that they'll be making revenues in the second half of 2021, although they're making $0 from their product sales, and when you see these types of companies going public just in April and making these promises, you have to do your own research. You have to build conviction behind it, and ultimately you have to understand that if things go south, am I still willing to hold these companies, right? Because every shareholder for this company, trust me guys, every shareholder of these companies, this type of company, is really puzzled into, am I able to hold this company for the next few months, few years? And most people will say no, and that's why you will see many sales. This is why this stock got hammered after hours yesterday, and this is why it's now almost 80% as of right now. So that's my whole point. It's This space is highly risky, and there are very a lot of risk involved. But again, you have to do your own research. You have to build your conviction. You have to be willing to endure the hard times, and be wary of companies promising revenues and promising sort of going public and promising revenues. This is why I really look at leaderships of companies. I really look at their historic performance in terms of execution, in terms of decision, right? How do they fare up against what they've done in the past, right? If you have a blank history and you just go out and say, I'm going to generate revenues in the second half of 2021, but you go public in April. I mean, second half of 2021 starts in June, July. That's not even 2 months. What's your plan? What are your commercial settings? What's going on there? And I mean, obviously, there's a lot more issues to these types of companies, right? It's not just promises; it's also leadership. This is what I often talk about, right? Leadership is very important, right? You need execution, right? You could have the best tech involved, you can have the best investors, the best VCs backing you up. You could have an amazing social media platform and social media presence, but ultimately, if you're not able to execute, get the job done, right? If you're not able to provide your investors constant press releases showing the continuous updates about your company, about the product lines, about your program in the pipeline, to me, you'll eventually have this type of result where when it comes to quarterly earnings, you have to go to the public and announce, hey guys, unfortunately we won't be making any product revenues for the second half of this year, and this will go on all the way to 2022. Your stock will be hammered, the CEO will be demoted. I mean, this is a huge shift. This is big news, this is really negative news. And My thoughts, my other thought beside that is that you as an investor, I don't think you should be, I think this ties really well to yesterday's video. I wish this news came out yesterday when I was doing the RG fund. You know if you want to minimize risk and if you want basket of goods, either you create your own basket of goods or you just jump on the ARK Invest G fund, right? And you hop onto their fund, right? But even then, again, I don't want to be pessimist and I don't want to nail down the point I just made, but you've been affected by this news because this is one of the companies in your basket of goods if you own this fund. But if you don't own this fund, like I'm not a ETF person. I don't own funds. This is my personal preference. It's my investment philosophy. You have to take your own. You have to do your own research. But if you don't own these basket of goods like the ETFs, but then if you're willing to invest in these companies, just make sure you don't go all in one specific company, right? Again, not a financial advice, but it's just education. It's never a good idea to go all in, right? Because then you can have these types of scenarios where your company that you're all in, they poorly execute, they make false promises, and all of this is revealed under the hood. And you as an investor, you're the one who's the sucker. Basically, you're the one who's getting hammered the most. Yeah, the media can cover it. Yeah, the CEO could be demoted, but ultimately, you're the one who invested a lot of hard-earned money of yours. So it's extremely demoralizing. It's really not good for the space, but I guess that's the type of wake up call we often need, as investors. Even if you're not invested in this company, even if you don't own the RG fund, I think it's really important to remind ourselves what researching means, what building conviction means, what leadership importance means. What do I mean when I talk about execution? So hopefully this helped you guys a little bit, shed some light a little bit. I know a lot of people talked about this in different social media platforms. So hopefully the video sort of, gave you guys sort of a gateway to sort of think a little bit about this for your own investment philosophy, for your own investments. Again, it could be totally unrelated to your investment, and this may just be a drop in the bucket that most people will forget in the upcoming future. But I won't. I'll remember this huge drop, because if this company promised and they were hit hard, their CEO got demoted and now they're down 80%, this could happen to every other company. This was not a fraudulent company. They didn't commit fraud or whatnot, right? This is not the Enron, this is not the Terranos or whatever. This is actual, putting guidance in the past and, going back to your words. And this is what we see in this space. I'm curious to see what you guys think. If you guys are even bothered by it, maybe you guys just think this is just a specific company news that shouldn't be, that framework, that philosophy shouldn't even be applied. We shouldn't be talking about it. Let me know in the comments below. Really curious to see what you guys think. Hopefully you guys liked this video. If you did, smash that like button, destroy that like button. If you haven't subscribed, guys, please do. What are you waiting for? Join our community. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see each other tomorrow. Thank you very much.